Oh god, is this gonna be an accessory to war crimes? I joke, but at some point I'm assuming it's gonna be real. Specifically for the Ruby laser cannon, I was told that out of everything he has made, this is the most destructive, and I'm terrified we're about to find out. So let's suffer through it together.
Maze with the crazy crap that you can build using a pile of broken microwaves, some eBay electronics, and a couple of precision optics. Case in point, my new Ruby laser. Now I know it's been a long time coming for me to post this video, but honestly I just wasn't happy with the footage that I was getting. But this is still an amazing laser, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll save the more detailed explanation on how I built this laser for a later.
Considering some of his other builds, this is probably the most sensible so far. It's actually somewhat contained. Everything else looks even more jank.
Video. But for the time being, here's a quick rundown of what's all inside this laser.
Oh!
So I start by feeding wall voltage into this circuit breaker, which then feeds it into this variac, which gives me adjustable voltage. And from there...
Oh, so it's literally... That's why it had tape around, so it's adjustable voltage. He has a knob to change how much power it has.
It goes into these resonant microwave oven transformers, which then feeds into this Cockcroft-Walton voltage multiplier.
Oh! Oh, I thought the thing on top was the entire gun. No, no. It's the entire setup.
That also takes the AC voltage and converts it to DC. And then I feed it into a little inductive choke there, and then also into this disconnect switch. And then finally, all that electricity goes inside this massive capacitor bank. And this is where all the energy...
That's a bank of capacitors? To give you an idea, there are capacitors in PC power supplies. They're roughly yay big. They're very powerful. It's why you don't ever fuck with them even when they're unplugged, because they could still kill you with the amount of voltage they can store. And that's been that way for a long time. Like PC parts, they don't have a high shelf life because they get outdone pretty easily. Power supplies, not so much. Most of the new designs are just how they deliver the power, not how it's stored to the actual workings of the machine itself. So I'm looking at this and going, that is enough capacity to probably fit in my entire computer, let alone power it. That is a lot of capacity. This isn't, it could kill me. It could probably burn down a significant proportion of multiple houses.
Energy gets stored. Now this
there's more than one.
Can store something like 20 kilojoules. And if you don't know much about electronics, that is a lot of energy. That is a very, very dangerous amount of energy. And in fact...
Kilojoules? Oh. Okay.
I mean, if you touch that, any of those down there, that right there, while it's live, you're killed instantly. I mean, you're a corpse before you hit the floor. So this is definitely not something that you can mess around with. It's a very, very dangerous device.
You know, I was told this is the most dangerous thing he ever made. I see. He wasn't talking about the laser. People who said this were talking about literally every part of it. And New Yorkster, imagine if this guy started working with actual nuclear power sources. Please tell me this guy has never heard of Kyle Hill, because that's the kind of thing they could collaborate on, because they have similar overlapping scientific fields, and this is something that they could do together. Never let this happen.
Inside that laser is a giant flash lamp. Now, it's a lot like a camera flash, except it's many thousands of times stronger. But in fact, it's always hooked up to that capacitor bank there. The charge just doesn't flow through it because it's usually not conductive. But in order to make it conductive so I can fire it, I built this trigger circuit here using a 555 timer, some...
Oh, he actually custom wired that, because you see the resistors and everything, or transistors. It's been a while since I've done circuit boards, so I barely remember anything. I just remember I couldn't solder to save my life.
MOSFET, and then some protective components, and then a ignition coil from a car. So let me hit it here. That's a lot of voltage. That's like probably close to 50,000 volts. It's enough to...
That is alone 50,000. You know, he must be a genius because anyone else doing this would have died already. Hell, I'm assuming people who've tried this and the people within a mile radius of them have also probably died already trying this.
To ionize the xenon inside that lamp to make it conductive. With my lamp trigger, I leave one electrode sitting at ground potential and then apply the high voltage to that conductive reflective wall there. And watch, let me hit it there. So you can see it lighting up there. It's ionizing the gas inside and making
Why does he need to ionize the gas inside?
it conductive. And now this is called an external triggering scheme. There are better methods of triggering here, but this method is effective and it works. And it
I'm sorry. This is not the best triggering scheme, so that means he knows a way to make this better. If anyone ever sees him decide to drop a manifesto online and say, I'm going to get in my pickup truck and don't ask what the giant box on the back is, you should probably just run. I don't know what state he's in. I think you just flee the country at this point.
does look pretty cool.
It does look cool.
This
But why,
laser is
though?
a very classical design. In fact, it's very similar to the first laser ever built. So inside there's a big crystal of ruby surrounded by a lamp and a shiny reflector. Then I have these two
Ruby is basically just red quartz, right? I could be mistaken.
mirrors here, which allow the light to bounce back and forth and get that optical amplification. But these are very, very special mirrors. You can't just stick any old regular mirrors there and expect it to work. In fact, this laser would annihilate that in one shot. So I have these very special mirrors made for me by Esco Optics, and they have a very good coating on them that prevents them from ionizing during the big laser pulse.
He had these custom made. For some of the other videos where he was doing things that could work at, you know, a range of 200 meters to burn and ignite things, the laser turret video, he bought his optics off Amazon. And they worked. These are custom made. Oh no.
And in fact, I did some math here, and it turns out that the electric field on the surface of those mirrors approaches 3 megavolts per meter. Now that's the electric field that you need to rip apart air molecules in a lightning strike. So that's a very, very strong field. So it's amazing that these mirrors can take the beating from this laser. Alright, it's time for some...
Okay. Also, Pilo in the chat mentioned, technically it's not made of quartz, it's transparent aluminum. Really? Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Cool.
some test shots. Now at first I aimed it at some plastic, and this actually has two functions. For
Plastic?
one, it's fun to blow up plastic with giant lasers,
Yeah.
but also I can
He's not
use
wrong.
this to test the beam profile. And by looking at the
Profile?
shape of the crater it leaves, I can tell if the mirrors are misaligned or not.
So depending on how it burns, you could see if it needs to be adjusted so they actually match up. What the? So we have the pop here. It literally whites out part of the screen. And we don't actually see the burn. We see it ahead of it. Oh, it's the blowback of gas. What the hell?
Now that extremely intense laser pulse doesn't bury as deep into the plastic as you might expect. And that's because as soon as that laser starts to fire, the surface of the plastic begins to boil off and turns into a hot plasma that ends up absorbing most of the rest of the light that comes from the laser. So then all of that energy goes into heating up that expanding fireball, and you get that explosion there on the surface.
Michael Hamilton, scared Airier's best Airier. Sharp carpeted, shag carpeted bathroom. Why would you say that, Michael Hamilton? Oh God, a shag carpeted bathroom. That. Why did I press that? Oops, sorry, wrong button. I don't know what happened there. A shag carpeted bathroom. Why would you even say that? Oh God.
surface. But because of that, not much energy makes it to the plastic. And you
Yeah,
get a
minus
very
the
shallow
giant,
crater.
sorry,
For
miniature
my second
fireball.
test, I tried shooting through a razor blade, which is a classic old test of pulse lasers.
It
But I ran
is?
into a really interesting issue.
Oh yeah, you can see the little burn mark.
This lens was brand new when I put it in front of the laser to focus it down, and in
Oh, it actually shattered the lens.
that one shot that you just saw, it caused the glass to shatter. Now that is amazing, because considering glass is pretty much clear, most of the light passes straight through it.
Holy
It might absorb something
shit.
like 1% of the light going through it. So that 1% is enough to cause that glass to explode, which just shows how unbelievably high energy this laser is. That is amazing. I never thought I'd see the day when my lasers would start eating lenses like candy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that happened in other
seeing the
videos.
laser blast
Oh
the
god, he
lenses
does
that
more
were actually
soda.
meant for taking a lot of
Yes,
light,
just
I decided to
soda.
test it on
It's
another
only
piece of
soda,
glass.
YouTube.
This soda bottle.
To give an idea, he did the soda bottle test with the laser turret at about 50 yards or meters or whatever. It took a couple seconds and this happened. This was less than a second, significantly less. And the soda bottle was destroyed. Okay, sure.
Oh, that's nuts.
I think that's actually the little burn mark right
That
there.
did not go as expected. So the laser beam hit right here, and it only cracked here, but ended up shattering above it.
Huh.
That's really interesting.
I think that's actually a design with the bottles themselves where this is the weak point because of the curves.
Must have made some weird stress fracture that caused it to shatter up there. Now in future videos using this laser, I don't have to worry about shattering my lenses because Esco sent me some nice fused silica lenses that won't explode in the laser beam. So I'm excited to put these on the laser.
Also, unfortunately, this is just water. Oh, weird. That actually barely appears in the image. That is weird. What I should be watching for this video or drinking is a lot of alcohol because I am way too sober for this to seem like a good idea. Okay.
Now before I end this video, I'd like to give a couple thank yous to people who helped support this project.
I wonder if he ever made a bigger version of this.
Patrons, because projects like this are expensive and I couldn't do it without your support. And then also I'd really like to thank Esco
For every one of his patrons, this is your fault.
Like I said earlier,
You're enabling a
it's really hard
madman.
to find mirrors that don't explode when you hit with 50 kilowatts of laser light. So it was awesome to have them make me some custom coated mirrors for this. Like I said, if I were to stick some regular mirrors in that beam, they would just explode and vaporize and just, so quickly. Probably in just a single shot. So it was awesome to get some good optics for this. And yeah, until the next time, stay safe and happy lasing.
This is an old video. I wonder... Oh god, did he make a bigger version of this? Again, never let him find out about Kyle Hill. Oh no. Oh no. He would actually do some horrible things. And this one is only 3 years ago. It's the microwave laser. Oh, okay. That, yeah. And Josh Tompkins, Styropyro Demon Circuit next. I think that was recommended, but I had to watch this one first. Because why not? I'm working off a few suggestions that I was told would help in order because it sets up how certain weapons or, sorry, how certain science experiments he tries work. Okay, this is fine. Microwave into a laser oven.
Microwave oven. Now for most people, these are simply a way to just heat up food in a hurry. And for that they're pretty decent. But for people like me, microwaves are so much more than that. Microwaves are useful for a lot of cooler things than just cooking.
You can turn
food.
them on.
In fact, my parents' microwave was probably my first platform for experimenting with
What?
electromagnetism. Unfortunately, that oven mysteriously died not long after they got it. The nice thing is that microwaves don't even have to be
Okay, I didn't know that would happen.
Lethality aside, the transformer and capacitor inside are great for high voltage projects like Tesla coils. The glass tray and turntable motor can be used to make a simple laser show, and even the oven casing itself is useful as a disposable blast chamber. Now I've done a ton
I can't tell if this would be hilarious or horrible. The idea of him walking into a hardware store and asking for a microwave. There's probably someone out there going, he's back again. And if they're not, they should be, because, oh dear God. What the hell?
A lot of projects using microwave parts in this channel, but today I actually want to focus on the oven itself. And since this is my channel, I think there's some room to make some upgrades on this wonderful appliance as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh yeah, before I go on, I should warn you that all the crazy stuff you're about to see was done completely for educational purposes. I mean, if you were to try any of this stuff at home, you'd probably die. So yeah, please don't try this at home. Alright, so what kind of stuff can you even do with a microwave? Well, the obvious use is cooking stuff, but this isn't super exciting by itself, and it's often slower than I'd like. And besides, you can do this with an ordinary oven as well. But this isn't some ordinary oven. Why would you cook bananas? This is a science oven. This bad boy cooks food with a huge electromagnetic field. I can use this field to check on the condition of my low-pressure gas tubes. Has this plasma globe taken on air since the last time I hit it with a Tesla coil? A quick run in the microwave shows that it's still intact, but not for long. How about these cheap neon indicators I bought on eBay? Are they any good? I'll take that as a yes. Microwaves are great for chemistry as well. In fact, regular old microwave ovens have been used in chemical synthesis for years in academic labs.
I had no idea about that. Also, does he just have an entire video, like a supercut of him just exploding things in microwaves? You know what? There probably is one. I think I'm going to run away screaming now. Let's just ignore that.
Labs. Now, when it comes to actually cooking food, there's still a lot left to be desired. I mean, it's been over 70 years since the first microwave ovens.
That long?
The new ones aren't any more powerful. What gives? It turns out, the people who make these things have been feeding us lies for years. So hear me out. What happens when you use the 50% setting for slow cooking?
They have an effect? I thought they were all the same volume regardless, or the same power. I don't know shit about microwaves other than I keep burning things.
Any self-respecting person would expect the oven to simply run at half power, but check out that power draw. What actually happens is that the oven runs at full power for an amount of time, then turns off for a while before repeating the cycle. Sure, it averages out given enough time, but it's still dirty. Now, admittedly, that one's not that big of a deal.
So it's literally letting things cool.
The light is downright disgusting. What happens when you use the 100% setting? Most people don't question this setting because it's all they've ever known. But let's take a look at what that looks like in slow-mo. See how they flash like that? Yeah, that's right. Even at the 100% setting, the bulbs are only on half the time. And this is because the oven is only producing microwaves half the time. What a scam!
So microwave ovens work based on... based on pulses of microwaves, not actually as constant projection of microwaves itself. I had no idea about this whatsoever.
Anybody who watches my videos knows that half power just isn't going to cut it for me. I think it's time for some upgrades. Alright, so I've taken this thing apart to expose the circuitry inside. Now I gotta say it, poking around in a microwave is not for the inexperienced. When electronics hobbyists get killed by their projects, it's almost always because they're messing around with microwave parts like these. Anyway, here's the reason why the oven's only on half the time. So this magnetron here, which is actually the source of microwaves in the oven, is powered by feeding the output of this high voltage transformer into this halfway voltage doubler circuit. Now the very nature of this circuit means that the magnetron is only going to be powered on half of the AC cycle. Now if the transformers in these things were ran so ridiculously close to saturation, you could just throw in another capacitor and diode to make the full wave doubler and call it a day. But you can't, so that means I have to sacrifice another microwave for the transformer.
What the
But before I do that, let's start with a quick control run, because this is a science video after all.
So what he's going to do is, instead of having an on-off cycle, it'll be an on cycle for one, an on cycle for the other, and then alternating. Oh god, he's making a double-barreled microwave gun.
Sort of. I'm going to start by ripping this plastic covering off of the door.
Why?
The metal grid will still stop microwaves from escaping, but now I'll be able to see inside with my thermal camera. I actually learned this thermal camera trick from the YouTuber Styropyro. Well, he's not really a YouTuber. I've just known him from various nerdy online groups over the years. But he does have some cool vids on YouTube regardless. So a cup of water heats by about 28 degrees Celsius in a minute, which also suggests about 40% efficiency. Now obviously,
is 40%
this isn't
good?
quite fast enough for my liking. I went ahead and unlocked full power mode here. I've added another transformer, as well as some more diodes and capacitors to make the full wave doubler circuit. But wait, won't a microwave using double the power trip the breaker? Well, it's nothing a little bit of copper wire and duct tape can't fix. Just kidding. We have appliance outlets for a reason. I was too lazy to...
I'm sorry. For a second there, I was just going, fuck. There's some idiot out there who would look at that going like, see, my idea had merit. I'm not going to acknowledge which one of my family members that is who would do that. But he's aware. And somehow he's still alive. Yeah, I can never let him find this channel. He would take it as a source of ideas. I hope he doesn't watch these videos. You ever have that realization that what you said was a joke but then wasn't, and then you're making a creeping sense of dread that they might have already seen it, and everything you were joking about being a horrible situation might actually already be too late, and even taking down the video wouldn't actually be a problem anymore because it is not going to help? Neither do I. We're going to ignore this ever happened. I have no idea what he did, and it's not my fault, I swear.
To use the original controls on the microwave, so now I'm using this huge variac to power it. Now the nice thing is this actually allows me to control the power, as opposed to just plugging that abomination directly into mains. A quick power up with neon bulbs shows that the oven is indeed working. Slow-mo video
some
confirms
flashing,
that
though.
the oven is actually producing microwaves on the full cycle.
Oh.
Sure, there's some ripple, but at least it's on the entire time now. A benefit of the new setup is that it bypasses all of the safety mechanisms, which means the oven door doesn't even have to be closed for it to operate. This is super convenient for the times I need to irradiate large objects with kilowatts of microwaves.
Why would you need to do that?
I was curious how a camera would react inside my Faraday cage with the open oven, so I stuck one of my old cameras in there with it.
Oh, you can actually see as it's breaking down.
Amazingly, it actually survived this.
But it didn't break?
Now I should note that doing an experiment like this without extensive shielding will lead to the FCC and local hams hunting you down. So, don't do that. Let's go ahead and redo that water heating experiment with a full...
Of course he has a random Faraday cage. I'm not even surprised by this one because sure, why not? This is safe. This is fine. At this point, if this is the part they're going to come after him for, they're just not paying attention.
Full power microwave. The original microwave drew a little under 1200 watts, so I'm going to dial the power to about 2400 watts this time. Over the course of a minute, the power draw actually increased to about 2800 watts, probably due to the toasty magnetron filament spitting off more electrons as it heated. The full power microwave heated the water way faster this time.
180 degrees Fahrenheit. God damn. That's a bit warm.
63 degrees Celsius in 1 minute. Some rough calculations show that the efficiency was unchanged as well, giving about 40% efficiency. How about something a little more practical?
There's a joke in here about somewhere. Let's see, this is 3 years ago. Yeah, this is right before the 3000 series came out. By 3000, I mean the Intel 3000 CPUs. Wait, that was GPUs, not CPUs. Which could do that, or the 13th and 12th gen, that it could also do that. For half the power, they can create even more heat. That's just straight heat, though, so, oh god. This is not safe.
Check it out. An apple is heated to deliciousness in half the time it normally takes.
Is the apple on
Talk
fire?
about convenience. Now I know what you're thinking. What happens when I give this setup even more power? Let's find out by cooking
So it Texas
this
summer,
banana
Michael
at 4
Hampton? Yeah,
kilowatts.
probably.
Okay, let's slowly crank up the power there. Yeah, seems
Is
good.
that smoke? No, that's the fan. That's smoke!
Oh, come on. It clearly arced over in there, but I'm not even totally certain why. The extra power certainly plays a role, but I think the geometry of the banana may be a culprit as well. I'm thinking it acts as a lens and/or antenna that focuses microwaves to the tip, which causes dielectric breakdown from the huge electric field.
The banana burned the microwave. And it only was it wasn't even at 100 degrees Fahrenheit when that happened. Does he need to slice the tip off? Just go circumcise the banana, it'll be fine. Much safer.
Maybe laying the banana on its side will prevent this from happening. Well, here goes nothing.
Faster even.
That doesn't sound very good.
Maybe I can
It's
just give it more
going
power and I'll heat the
everywhere.
banana along with the plasma. Nope, the magnetron is definitely dead now. Wait, why is it on fire? Oh, come on. Pocket sand. Unfortunately, this puny little magnetron just couldn't hack
Wait, that was pocket sand? I thought that was baking soda. Whatever.
the extra power. Now, it's not like I can just throw in a bigger magnetron either. Well, not without shelling out thousands of dollars. So why not use a bunch of smaller magnetrons?
What?
Well, the issue with that is then you introduce a bunch of phase matching and even impedance matching issues. Wait, what am I thinking? Why are we using this dinosaur technology when we could be using freaking lasers to cook food?
What?
Well, there's a few reasons, really. It takes a relatively huge amount of energy to cook food due to water's high heat capacity, so a laser that could cook in a reasonable amount of time would have to be ridiculously powerful and dangerous. Luckily, ridiculous...
Oh, this is fine. Now we're up to the laser oven part. This is safe.
powerful lasers are what I do best. In fact, I already have on hand some of the scariest semiconductor modules on the
Oh god,
planet.
those things!
These are integrated laser diode arrays. They may not look like much, but each one is capable of tens of thousands of times as much power
He
as a
burned
laser
his
pointer.
ceiling by
It's honestly
accident.
hard
I
to
mean, he put
convey
up the
just
stuff
how
to catch it,
dangerous
but...
each one of these can be. And the hilarious thing is that I'm going to need to run a bunch of them side by side at full power to pull off cooking with them. Judging by the scratched out part numbers and lack of documentation, I'm going to guess that I'm probably not supposed to have these. So how am I going to turn these things into a laser oven? Well, honestly, I'm not even sure yet, so I'm just going to start smashing things together until something works.
The obvious joke here would be someone going, science! Okay, sure, this is fine. I know he's doing that as a joke. But technically, Jay's 2 Cents did a video joking around about trying his own homemade thermal paste, and I think he used mayo as one of them. Obviously, it didn't work, but he tried. It didn't work actually nearly as bad as I thought it would. I mean, by as thought it would, I thought it would literally explode from the sudden heat load. It just failed, which is still better than I thought. The local hardware store must have a panic attack when he makes an order. I don't understand a bit of what I'm seeing. But I'm pretty sure if I did, this would make it feel worse. I wonder if there's any videos of people... Why is it on fire? He's just doing this for fun at this point, isn't he? I'm going to find family members who won't try and emulate this, and I'm going to show this to them to watch their horror. Because I think I need to spread the pain at this point. Is that a machete? Why does he have a machete? Never mind, Styropyro. I shouldn't ask. No, it's water cooled. He actually installed water cooling with a pressurized pump.
Alright, so
That's
this
a
is
pretty
what
good
the
move.
completed laser oven looks like. So I have my array of laser arrays here on top, and that's powered via this power supply that's fed through some drivers on the back. Now I also added this water cooling loop here, just because there's so much power going through this thing that I simply couldn't get away with just some passive...
Huh. He also has soft tubing as well. Kind of surprised. Ooh, that bend right there, that looks pretty sharp.
cooling there.
Might be a
The
problem.
new laser-equipped oven draws about 2 kilowatts at full power, and about 700 watts of that makes it out as laser light. In fact, that makes it the most powerful CW laser build I've shown on this channel. Now, in order to visualize this ridiculous power, I've stuck a mirror in there so you can see what the beam looks like.
Because the Faraday cage door is meant for microwaves, not lasers. And Hoyer says, it's the science machete. Oh, of course it is. Of course it's a science machete. Also, right now, Hugo, you mentioned we shouldn't give him ideas to build a chainsword. I don't think that's the case. He would make a power sword instead, or a thunder hammer, well before he would make a chainsword. Lovely.
I've actually had
Gundam Beam Saber intensifies.
Because otherwise the beam just washes out my camera's sensor. Just to give you an idea on how ridiculous this oven is, the highest danger rating a laser product can get is Class 4. That happens at half a watt of output power. So if the output on this thing is 700 watts, that means that it eclipses that rating by over 1,000 times. That means you probably won't be seeing these in stores anytime soon. Alright, so the beam's flashy and all, but how
fast does it
cooking food?
incinerate the bread?
Let's start with a piece of toast.
That fast.
Smells so good.
Doesn't actually toast it though.
This laser oven is really more of a laser grill since the cooking is one-sided. Now that's not really that big of a deal since I can just flip it.
Oh! Oddly enough though, the parts that it didn't get hit didn't get burned from residual heat either. Huh. I thought there'd be more bloom, but no, they're pretty consistent.
Now that's not really that big of a deal since I can just flip it over halfway through. Well, that looks interesting. I wonder what that tastes like. Well, here goes nothing. Well, that's really good.
I mean, it's bread.
Wow, it's like a carbon foam flavor. It's really unique. I mean,
isn't that how it usually tastes? I know what I said. I'm not wrong. I know.
You can't make toast like this in a regular microwave. Popping popcorn with the laser is one of my most requested experiments to try on this channel. Let's see how well the laser oven can pull it off.
Is it just going to burn or are they going to pop?
That isn't doing a very good job. The beam must be too concentrated, since the surfaces of the kernels are vaporizing off faster than the inside can be heated to the point of popping. Let's see if I can fix that with a diffuser plate to spread out the beam.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
there it goes.
There's a few pops, but it's still mostly burning.
Some turntable action couldn't hurt as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's doing an awesome job.
It's actually
now.
working.
That's way more interesting than the traditional way of cooking pie.
So I'm just going to point out, someone in the chat who will not be named, Hoyer, mentioned he read about a nuclear fusion laser used to bore into the Earth's crust. I'm not going to acknowledge that comment. I'm not going to read that comment. We're not going to comment on this comment. It never happened. It didn't exist. Nothing here is exacting any type of mental trauma on me by thinking that this is something that would be in line with why no one should ever introduce Styropyro to Kyle Hill. Because that is something that could happen, and I want to avoid that possibility of things that could very well be a thing.
Popcorn. Is laser popcorn as good as the microwave stuff? One way to find out.
I mean, if it's shit and burned, yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. Jeez.
Cardboard.
Has like a smoky flavor to it. Yeah, it definitely beats microwave. Definitely beats microwave. Again, with those like hints of the carbon foam flavor, you know. That's one of my favorite flavors. It's funny because if I would have stuck with my PhD program, I would have been working on inertial confinement fusion lasers by now. And yet here I am cooking popcorn with a laser oven. I guess I can do that as a YouTuber as well. And yet here I am, PhD program, I would have been working on inertial confinement fusion lasers by now. And yet here...
Oh, dude. Funny thing about what he just mentioned, it just occurred to me. The inertial confinement fusion lasers is actually one of the ways people thought that you could achieve fusion power sources. And it worked. 2 years, or sorry, I think within the last year, maybe a little more than a year ago. So when he said this, everything he talked about working on was still a pipe dream that had been worked on for most of my life. And before that, that is a long-running thing. I think they had theories about it in the 50s when nuclear power was coming up. And this is how you could do something with fusion power. And now he's talking about this, and less than 3 years later, after this came out, it worked. And honestly, I remember this because I geeked out over actual achievable fusion power. It was a massive payout for a small bit, but the fact that they got it to work at all means that it's possible. So, yeah. And now he's going to go and do it himself, he said. Okay, sure, this is safe.
Here I am cooking popcorn with a laser oven. I guess I can do that as a YouTuber as well, since I actually have this set of optical amplifiers from a government attempt at building a laser fuser. And that's for a different video, though. I've had campfire s'mores and I've had microwave s'mores, but I've never had laser s'mores. Perhaps the secret to the perfect s'more is by cooking it with laser beams. Oh yeah, check that out. It's making the chocolate nice and melty there. It looks like it's adding a bit of crisp to it as well.
Isn't this what it looks like every time you cook? Oh, this is a me not being able to cook problem, not everyone else. The smoke is what I'm used to when I try this.
Yummy. Alright, let's add some marshmallows there. Huh, it's kind of hard to tell whether they're melting or if the white color is just reflecting off all the light.
Would the white color be able to do that?
Okay, yeah, it's definitely melting there. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's ready to eat.
Damn.
Man, I hope these things taste as good as they smell, because, wow, that is quite a fragrance.
That actually unironically looks amazing. Like, legitimately, that I wasn't hungry. I was not expecting to get hungry on a Styropyro video. Batshit terrified to the point where my everything decides to stop working today. Fear and revulsion of the existence of nature. Well, we did that with Netrix, but still, okay, sure. Hunger because of one of the absolute best looking s'mores I've ever seen. That was not on my bingo card. This is a new one.
All right, here we go. Wow. Yet again, I am very impressed. And one of the big themes about this laser oven I'm finding is that charred flavor, you know?
I actually like charred flavors, so I kind of like be okay with that.
Man, I love carbon. It's a shame that you can't just, like, sell these things at the store.
Yeah, it's a
Man,
small
you guys
problem.
are missing out. Now that I'm making campfire foods, I can't make s'mores without also giving hot dogs a try. One nice thing about the laser oven is that leaving the door open won't jam nearby electronics or make the FCC angry. However, my eyes would be destroyed in a fraction of a second if I took off my laser goggles. I probably should have spent more time designing a beam diffusing system, but whatever. That one's actually really good. Again with that, it's like a charbroiled flavor, but I don't even need like a grill or whatever you use to do that. Yeah, there's...
Actually, that's kind of fascinating because if he could design a diffusion platform for this and a less powerful laser to fund it that it would be easily replaceable, having an instant charbroiled effect is something people would probably pay a lot of money for. But this is Styropyro, and if it doesn't involve massive property damage as a possibility, I don't think he's interested. So yeah, it's not going to happen.
There's this really just...
Also, Zena, you asked how I'm doing on time. I'm pretty good so far because my wife hasn't knocked on the door and reminded me that we have to do the thing about the stuff with the man about the horse, and there won't be any horse heads in the bed this way.
Aftertaste, I mean, it lasts a really long time. And I mean, really, a lot of things from this laser oven give an aftertaste that lasts a long time. How about a laser-cooked egg?
Oh, God.
Is it even cooking in there?
Is
It's
that
hard to tell since
toast?
the wood's burning a
Oh,
lot,
it's
but
wood!
It might just be reflecting off all that light. I was kind of hoping for something like a hard-boiled egg here, but I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be eating this one. Maybe I can do better with a different
Did it
breakfast
just pop?
food. In all honesty, I'm usually too lazy to heat these things up and just eat them straight out of the wrapper.
Wait, people actually heat them up? That's just weird. Also, Michael Hamilton, you just made a comment on one of his recent committee posts informing him of Kyle Hill. To quote New York's right below you, "You've doomed us. You've doomed us all, you crazy fool." And now it's time to build some vaults, Hugo? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Fun fact, when I was a starving college student, I found that Pop-Tarts were the highest amount of energy I could buy for $1 in my school's vending machines.
You can get them for $1?
Right here.
Where were you that they only cost $1? I mean, for the last years now, I've seen them at like $4 or $5 for a single 2-pack. Lucky bastard.
It's a little on the crispy side.
So normal Pop-Tart?
Yeah, it's alright. Not used to my, chocolate being so toasty, I guess. How about some double roasted cashews?
Triple roasted now.
I love the smell of roasted nuts. Oh, those give off a ton of smoke in there. It must be the oil or something.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
here goes nothing. Oh, no.
Don't like nuts in your mouth, huh? That's the common response.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
Airier
that's one
said.
thing the laser oven can't do. Alright, I've had enough appetizers today. I think it's time for the main course.
Oh no.
Many people will argue that nothing can beat the flavor of a microwave steak, but I think this laser oven can pull it off.
Oddly enough, the horror here is not that he's lasering a steak. It's that I'm not sure he's joking about people saying they would microwave a steak. I want to say he's just doing his persona, and it's the part of the stupid here, but I'm afraid that maybe he's not, and people have actually done this. I don't want to find out. There's a line. I might not be a good cook, but even I know you do not microwave a steak. Because you dry it out in the process, and that would make it completely inedible. And if there's anyone who likes that, no. Just no.
Wow,
God.
I just can't get over that incredible smoky fragrance. I better flip it over to make sure it gets the other side.
Oh, it actually looks
Yeah,
cooked.
that thing is being lasered to perfection.
Oh God, you can see it's actually
Oh,
shaking.
I forgot. I can't have a steak dinner without some laser caramelized onions.
Actually, that might be interesting.
Looks like the onion is a bit reflective to the blue laser light.
Oh.
I guess I can just leave it in there for a while. Okay, yeah, I think that's good enough for now. Wow, check out that beautiful meal. Now that is Instagram worthy. Let's give that old steak a try first.
Oddly enough, the steak seems to have actually spread the heat around because it doesn't look pink. Bit chewy.
Alright, might be a little on the,
Raw.
might be a little overdone. It's kind of hard to tell, you know. I'm not used to cooking with lasers. But, man, it is a delicious flavor. Again,
Yeah, actually, it looks like it's medium to medium well done. I wonder if all the water circulated the heat in it enough that it actually did manage to cook it fully. That's surprisingly effective.
with that like carbonization.
I'm not going to acknowledge anything
of the
Xeno
food
Dragon
there.
or Coffee just
Oh,
said.
that was delicious.
Or it doesn't
I mean,
exist, it can't hurt
what
you.
should I try next? Probably the caramelized onion there.
All right, Shrek.
Nice and sweet. You know, I didn't get any char in that piece. Let's try this piece. That is amazing. Wow. I almost forgot about my Texas toast.
Oh God. I'm sorry. You can hear. You can hear as the char actually crunches. It's charcoal at that point. Ah. You know, there's certain sounds I can't stand, like cracking bones. I am adding a new one to this. Charcoal bread being chewed on is now the new sound I can't stand. Oh God.
That's so good. Man, I love the future. Alright, I am stuffed now, so I figured this would be a good time to go over some of the pros and cons of my laser oven. So, the pros, right? I mean,
Killing your
the
neighbors
biggest one is
by
it's a
accident.
laser oven. I mean, cooking food with lasers is automatically cool. It also has a good way of like adding a smoky flavor to things. Sometimes that can be a problem. I mean, a lot of it has to come down with the oven likes to cook, like put most of its energy in like the first few millimeters of the surface of the food you're cooking, so that can be problematic.
So what he's saying is basically it's perfect for flash cooking bacon. If it only has to be a very thin piece, that actually would work.
So that's why like chars absolutely everything you put inside of it. I mean, if I were to use like red or IR lasers for this, like near IR, then it would have probably done a better job.
He's
cooking
using
food
blue
more uniformly.
Yeah, blue laser.
And having a better diffuser plate in there would
I
have
wonder if you
probably
can go beyond
helped
the
too.
IR,
But,
the
so,
visible
this
light
is just,
spectrums.
Like, there could be improvements on it, obviously, but I feel like you could do a laser oven that would cook more uniformly and actually be like, you know, comparable to a microwave. So maybe I'll make another oven with red lasers, or maybe I'll just make a mega microwave with a giant magnetron and do it that way. So yeah, it was.
I'm going to try to end this video when we get to the end of it without looking at any suggestions in case he did make a family-sized laser. Because he's like, it's like, yeah, it's a laser big enough for the entire family. And I'm just thinking, yeah, it's a laser big enough for the entire family. This is fine. This is safe. That's a lie. Okay.
An interesting experiment, and this was probably one of the most requested things to do in my channel. At least
People
cook
need to
food
stop
with
making
lasers.
requests of him.
So,
He
yeah, I'm
listens.
glad I did it. Oh yeah, one more thing before I go. I decided to make a shorts channel since all the cool people are doing it. If you like bite-sized science demos in a vertical format, then you'll probably like the insanity that I'll be posting there. I'll be sure to put a link in the description. Well, that's about all I have for you today. So until the next time, stay safe
The
and happy
man's
lazing.
insane. He's insane. He is absolutely, utterly insane. I mean, we knew this. We should all be warned of this, and we're aware of it. But dear God, man. This is literally one of the coolest things I've ever seen and one of the most terrifying. Anything to do with Styropyro at this point. And I'm going to agree with the chat. Hugo mentioning that he's basically one of the founding Vault-Tec members at this point. Yeah. Yeah, in another universe, he probably could do that. It makes perfect sense. And I would be terrified. The joke is, how is this man alive? The reality is, how has this man not killed people by accident by inspiring them to do anything he did? Yeah. Oh. So yeah, I'm going to run away screaming right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Links below. Hit him up. And please do not ever do anything he's done on your own. We'll probably hear about it in the news, and that would be bad. Oh, God.